Right now at noon, the governor signs a bill that makes it easier for patients to get needed prescription drugs. And why a music festival featuring a handful of well-known artists is making its way to Wisconsin this fall.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Tuesday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast. It is July in Wisconsin.
It sure is. It's a lot warmer out there as opposed to yesterday as well. Temperatures already approaching the mid-80s in some spots. And yes, it's a bit more humid too with those winds coming out of the south. 84 in Janesville, and in Madison we do sit at 82 degrees as we speak. Of course, the sky is still beautiful. Winds out of the south of 13, but check out the dew point at 65. So yes, it's going to be noticeably more humid as you are outside today. Those warmer dew points are very close. Check out the dew points in the 70s as you work your way across parts of Iowa. All of that begins to nose in, along with the chance for some showers and thunderstorms. We're keeping an eye on the radar. We'll talk about what that means for us coming up in Maine weather.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
This just in now from the Channel 3000 Alert Center. An East Madison bank was robbed at gunpoint this morning. Madison police say the U.S. Bank on Cottage Grove Road was robbed at about 10:15. Anyone with any information asked to call police. Will have updates throughout the day on channel3000.com. And police are still looking for a driver who led police on high-speed chases in Monona that ended in a crash. A Monona officer saw a silver Pontiac with no license plates driving at a high speed on a Broadway service road this morning. Officers ended the chase because of excessive speeds. Later, another officer spotted the same vehicle going 80 miles an hour. That officer also ended the pursuit. The vehicle was found abandoned in the 4500 block of the East Broadway service road after hitting a fire hydrant. The driver was seen running north through a wooded area. Anyone who has any information related to this incident asked to call police. And the Dane County Sheriff's Office is searching for suspects of a home burglary. It happened yesterday at 6 o'clock on County Highway J in the town of Cross Plains. Deputies say a victim arrived at her home and found her back door shattered. Multiple electronics and other items were missing. Deputies are continuing to investigate and are asking anyone who may have seen any suspicious activity to call the tip line. That number is there on your screen. Governor Tony Evers has signed a bill designed to make it easier for patients to get needed prescription drugs even when insurance companies force them to try cheaper alternatives first. The measure addresses the process known as step therapy, where insurance companies can force a patient to try cheaper treatment options before paying for more expensive ones a doctor originally prescribed.
Healthcare should not be a privilege afforded only to the healthy and the wealthy. And we have to continue to do everything we can to make sure that everyone can access the life-saving care they need and deserve without a barrier or burden.
Insurers argue step therapy is a reasonable way to keep costs in check. About 24 other states have adopted similar guidelines to make it easier for patients to get exceptions. Henry Ross Perot, the self-made Texas billionaire who twice ran for president, has died. He was 89. Perot rose to from Depression-era poverty to become one of the nation's richest men as the founder of computer services giant Electronic Data Systems Corp. In 1992, Perot jumped into the presidential campaign as an independent candidate, challenging President George H.W. Bush and Democrat Bill Clinton. Perot drew nearly 19% of the vote, the biggest percentage for a third-party hopeful in 80 years. Federal prosecutors are urging more women to come forward in the sexual abuse case against Jeffrey Epstein. The well-connected billionaire financier, Natalie Brand, has the latest.
While billionaire financier Jeffrey Epstein awaits a Thursday bail hearing on sex trafficking charges, there's new attention on U.S. Labor Secretary Alex Acosta. He helped negotiate a secret plea deal for Epstein in 2008 when he was then a U.S. attorney in Florida. The agreement allowed Epstein to avoid federal sex abuse charges and a possible life sentence. He spent just 13 months in jail and was released during the week to work in an office. Acosta defended the plea deal during a budget hearing in April.
The facts in this case were presented to a grand jury that actually recommended a charge that would have carried no jail time at all.
A growing number of Democrats are now calling for Acosta to step down, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who calls the plea deal an unconscionable agreement.
It's classic her and her Democratic Party to not focus on the perpetrator at hand and instead to focus on a member of the Trump administration.
President Trump and former President Bill Clinton both associated with Epstein over the years. A Clinton spokesman said trips the former president took on Epstein's private jet in the early 2000s were related to work with the Clinton Foundation, adding President Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to in Florida some years ago or those with which he has been recently charged in New York. Prosecutors allege Epstein started abusing underage girls in 2002 with alleged encounters at his New York City mansion and Palm Beach estate. Epstein has pleaded not guilty. And Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Annual music and food festival put together to benefit family farmers is coming to Wisconsin. Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Neil Young, and Dave Matthews will headline Farm Aid 2019 at the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy on September 21st. This year marks the festival's second time in Wisconsin. Farm Aid 2010 was held at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Organizers say the return to America's Dairyland is a response to the dairy farm crisis in the state. Farm Aid has raised $57 million in its 30 years. Tickets will go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. And there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Age-old vegetable that's making a big comeback. And with it comes lots of new and trendy ways to make them. That'll have everyone talking. It's amazing that not that long ago, Brussels sprout sales, whether fresh or frozen, were dismal at best. But that all changed once we figured out that we can cook these little powerhouses of nutrition in lots of different ways, rather than simply boiling them like our parents did. Today, we love them roasted, shredded in our salads, and a new way that we love them is to pickle them. To make pickled Brussels sprouts, we start by blanching some Brussels sprouts that we've trimmed. Once they're bright green and just tender, we drain them. While they drain, we combine some water, salt, and white vinegar in a saucepan. And we let that simmer until the salt dissolves. Now we remove this from the heat and add in some fresh garlic, peppercorns, mustard seed, and a bit of crushed red pepper. This gets poured over our sprouts and we'll let them sit for a bit so they can absorb all that goodness. After chilling them, they're ready to team up with anything from our favorite sandwich to any of our weeknight classics. To get the recipe for our brand new pickled Brussels sprouts, just head over to our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we've discovered a trendy pickled way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, a muggy, kind of a hazy day out there. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking some possible showers and thunderstorms next in your first alert forecast. Let's take a look at Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial is down almost 90 points. The NASDAQ up, however, 26.5. The S&P 500, though, down about a point. Let's check in with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee now. She has the latest farm news for us. Hi, Pam.
Yeah, hi there, and I imagine you guys are going to have the latest on the humidity counts. I heard Chris talking about it earlier, and that's really where the market's focused right now. Latest crop quality report came out yesterday, and as far as Wisconsin farmers are concerned, they're feeling better overall about the crop that they've got out there. In fact, this week we saw our corn rating go the good to excellent route, up 4 percentage points to 59% of our corn looking good to excellent in the state. Soybeans, 64% of our Wisconsin bean crop, good to excellent. That's a 3 percentage point increase in confidence for our Wisconsin farmers in 1 week's time. Now, compare that to what's happening in states like Illinois and Indiana, where 22% of their corn called poor to very poor. Ohio, 23%. North Carolina suffering through a drought. 32% of their corn is in poor to very poor condition, and Missouri suffering as well. 33% of their crop in poor or very poor condition. As you can see, though, market's not necessarily intimidated by those crop ratings, at least not at this stage in the game. They are also probably pulling a little money off the table. Later this week, we're going to get another update from USDA as far as their estimates. It is only a guesstimate, but the trade still wants to be ready if there's a rally possibly underway. Our dairy markets today in Chicago: barrel cheese down a penny on Tuesday to 176. 40-pound block cheese unchanged at 184. The AA butter, that actually gained a quarter today at 239.5 per pound. So again, like I said, the weather is not necessarily kind to man or beast. Pretty good on the crops, Mark, but I think the humidity levels, that's what we're all going to be monitoring for the next few days.
And the temperatures next week, great to see those.
Oh, great. Dane County Fair next week, buddy. Thanks for that.
Art fair on the square. It's always got to be hot for that.
Oh, man.
Right.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, let's check in with Chris. He has a look at the steamy details.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Apparently, I brought the southern humidity back with me because the dew points are right back up into the low 70s throughout parts of southwestern Wisconsin's. Dew points are into the mid 60s throughout central Wisconsin. So yes, it is certainly way more humid out there, and temperatures have returned to the 80s. 84 in Janesville right now. Madison, we're sitting at 82. But keep in mind that this is going to be a cooler day when you see the rest of the forecast. Winds out of the south at 13 miles per hour. The dew points in the 60s. The humidity, oddly enough, only at 56%, although it's going to feel very humid as you begin to step outside. No showers or thunderstorms over Wisconsin right now, but we are watching some showers and thunderstorms throughout parts of Minnesota, down into Iowa. This will begin to impact us later on today with at least a chance for some showers and storms. In fact, there's a marginal risk for some severe weather throughout western Wisconsin. Watch how this moves into tomorrow. We end up with a slight risk of severe weather throughout the eastern half of the state. That's all as a cold front begins to move our direction. That's going to be sending some showers and thunderstorms with it. 8:30 today. Don't be surprised if you do see that line of isolated storms trying to push its way through the area. Temperatures will likely be in the upper 70s at that point. That'll move on through and actually begin to fall apart as it pushes towards the east. That's because you lose the instability. At that point, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Winds are staying out of the south, though, into Wednesday. We'll watch more showers and storms develop. We'll see those temperatures into the mid-80s. I think the farther east you are, the greater chance you will have to see those showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday. And again, some of those could be severe. And then eventually that northwesterly wind will take over as that cold front moves in. Here's a thunderstorm outlook. Let's go through the next 3 days. First of all, Thursday, we're going to be all clear. Today, we'll have that chance for strong storms throughout the western half of the state. On Wednesday, scattered severe storms again possible for the eastern half of the state. What we're going to be watching for is the possibility of damaging winds and large hail. I don't think everyone gets in on a severe thunderstorm tomorrow. I think it's going to be fairly isolated in nature, but of course, we'll watch it. Behind that, watch some of the cooler air that's going to work its way on in here. This is Thursday. Thursday will feel very good. Friday may not feel too bad either, but watch the big ridge of heat that begins to develop over the western half of the country. And let's put this into motion going through the next 10 days. Notice the shots of warm air that just continue to come our direction. In fact, temperature trends throughout the next 10 days. We're going to see a stretch where we are in the 90s, and we did go conservative on these numbers. It is actually possible that we are talking mid-90s for our temperature highs going there for a while. In fact, the upper Midwest as a whole has a very strong probability of being above normal going through the rest of July. So if you were looking for a break from the heat, you're not going to find it here. But this afternoon, we'll see those temperatures again right around 84 degrees, staying mostly sunny and warm. And then the heat is on, along with that daily chance for showers and storms. We have 3 alert days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. For the heat, I wouldn't be surprised if we decide to add Wednesday and Thursday as well.
Why wouldn't you?
we didn't want to freak everyone out yet.
Yet. Yes. We'll get freaked out later.
Exactly.
All right, Chris, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, Dr. Jim Orvik from the Oregon Vet Clinic is here answering your pet questions. 270-9933, the number to call. We'll get to your calls right after this. Welcome back. Dr. Jim Orvik from the Oregon Vet Clinic is here taking your pet questions. 270-9933. Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Summer's moving along.
Yeah, it's faster than I want it to go.
That's for sure. We got some calls. Let's start with Randy in McFarland. Hi, Randy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your question?
We have a dog, a German Shorthair. Sure, it makes no difference, but when I take him outside, he likes to eat grass, the taller grass. And when he does, he gets constipated. He did last weekend. He ate a bunch, and he just didn't feel good. You could tell. So we ended up taking him to the vet, and basically they gave him some medicine to help him.
Help clean him out, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything I can do so?
Well, the interesting thing, I always felt the dogs ate grass kind of as a laxative to help them move things through when they had an upset stomach. That's one reason. Some dogs just like to eat grass, too. And if he's eating enough to get himself constipated, then I think it's a bad habit. And keeping it, well, it's, in the summer it's hard to keep a short hair out of the grass. So,
yeah, it seems opposite of what you'd think, that it would be a laxative.
That's right, or it'll make him vomit even. But
yeah, he does. He'll do that too.
Yeah, so there may be something going on. Has this always been a problem with him?
Yeah, he's always ate grass since he was a little guy, and he's about 10 now.
Oh, yeah. So
but he's still a German Shorthair. He still likes to run and
high on energy.
I've
Yeah.
known a few German Shepherds that I've threatened to put zippers in them because they eat the wrong thing and have to have surgery to take it out. So maybe he's one of those too, and I don't know if you could give him something like rawhides or something to chew on to keep his mind off the grass, but maybe
So
some Pepto-Bismol or something before he goes out, just to try to see if it is related to an upset stomach.
I'll give it a try. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call. Let's go to Elaine in Madison. Elaine, what's your question?
Hi, my question has to do with dogs barking. I don't have a dog myself, but I often walk around the neighborhood, and in the wintertime, doors are closed, windows are closed, but dogs will bark when I'm going past. I'm wondering how they can sense that someone is walking past. I mean, it's not like they're looking out the window and can see me. And it's the same in summer now with people having doors and windows closed and air conditioning on. I just wonder, how can dogs smell that, or how do they know?
Yeah, they can hear very well. And as a person with 3 dogs in the house right now, they bark at every noise, and they can sense people going by. They recognize people's cars that they know. And so they're very good at detecting who's going by.
So they're barking to protect the house, or?
Oh, the reason they're barking, I think it's fun to them. It's their activity for the day. It's just what they live for because there's not much else to excite them.
It's amazing the senses they have that we don't appreciate.
And they have to do something, They lay there bored all day. Well,
Right.
I got something to bark at.
Let's go to Judy in Beloit. Hi, Judy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your question?
Yeah, I have a chow chow mix, and she's a good, real friendly dog, and she's got a little wart or bubble on the outside of her mouth.
On her lip.
And I don't know if that's skin cancer, or it looks like a little black bubble outside her muzzle by her mouth. And I'm wondering, what is that from?
It should go to the vet and have him stick a needle in it and find out what kind of cells are in there, because there's good bubbles and bad bubbles. So needs to be checked out for sure.
I mean, some growths are just benign.
Oh, 90%, but there's some, like the thing that comes to mind is a mast cell tumor that can be quite malignant, and they look like just a little bubble to start with, and
grow and grow.
Yep, get them taken off and they're fine, but certain breeds are more prone to that too.
All right, we are out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Thanks for calling in. Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Chris has one final check of our forecast.
We will have another warm afternoon. It's going to be more humid as well. Look for those temperatures around 84, but the dew points are going to be way up. We'll have a chance for some showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight, along with Wednesday afternoon and evening. And some of those do have a better chance to be severe. I just think that chance is going to be greatest to our south and east. Thursday and Friday will be great days, but the heat and humidity do come back. 90s return, perhaps as early as Saturday, and they last from there on out.
As Pam said, it's County Fair Week. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.